It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Big game tonight. The Habs are playing against the Philadelphia Flyers. There's an old rivalry. Takes me back to the to that great those great series back in the mid '70s when the Canadians and the Flyers were the cream of the crop. Montreal supplanted the two-time champs there with and went on a four-year run. Great dynasty, best team NHL history as far as I'm concerned. They had to build a team that was tough enough to handle the Flyers, and they always had the skill. But then they added a few guys like Big Bird, Larry Robinson, pounded Dave Schultz, and the rest was history. The Habs went on to great run, and the Flyers haven't been able to taste the champagne ever since. But they've come close a couple times, of course. Right now, I don't think the Flyers are. I wouldn't call them cup favorites by any means. They're on the rebuild, but they've kind of surprised this year. They are firmly in the playoff race, and who knows there with they made some moves in the offseason that have actually paid off for them this year. They picked up Vladar is a good goalie. After kind of muffin, as most people thought on that trade last year with Anaheim, made another trade, and this time picked up Zegras, and he's bounced back and figured some things out. Maybe Rick Tocchet's been a good coach for him, kind of motivated him, got him realizing that he had to play a little harder, and he's got 30 points leading the Flyers in scoring, and he's been a kind of a pleasant surprise. I mean, the skill was always there. He just had been underachieving the last 2 years. So, big game. Of course, the big news tonight is that Mike Matheson's out, right? I mean, your 27-minute a night defenseman gets shelved, and you got to wonder if it had something to do with him playing the last 4.5, almost 5 minutes of the game the other night. May have strained something. Who knows? But what a warrior for him. Imagine if he was injured before that shift, and right. This tells you all you need to know about how much of a team guy Mike Matheson is. He's I'm glad they re-signed him. Yeah, he had a couple of rough nights after he first signed the contract. People are starting wondering, oh yeah, sure, take the money and then loaf. But that last game, he was a beast, and a big part of what I think might be the biggest turnaround. Like, let's have a look at the standings here, and you get an idea, right? The Habs right now sitting in third. 5-4-1 in their last 10. But hey, they it's the home record that has to change, and I think maybe the last game kind of got them back on track. But what I find interesting here is the fact that every team in the Atlantic Division has won between 4 and 6 games in their last 10. So nobody's hot, nobody's stone cold. Sens were on a bit of a skid, but they're back after their comeback win against Winnipeg last night. But that's incredible that every team got between 8 and 12 points in their last 12. So it's just back and forth, right? Wings and the Lightning on top with 39. Canadians, Boston 1 point behind. Panthers 2 back of that. They're starting to come on a bit. When Tkachuk comes back, look out for the Panthers. They'll be in the mix. Buffalo started to win, actually, 3 in a row. It's funny, eh? The GM gets fired after 3 straight wins, which is kind of funny, but um, 7 points separating first place and last in the division. And I was curious because I've never seen it this close, and I was just curious, just as an example, what the spread was last year at this time. So these were the standings in the Eastern Conference, okay, on December 16th, 2024. And you'll notice that Toronto had 40 points. They were leading the Atlantic Division. Look at the team last place, Montreal, 11, 16, and 3, 25 points, 15 back of the first place teams. Actually, Florida and Toronto were both tied top spot with 40 points. So, 40 points. This year, the top teams have 38. Like Montreal, if this was, they'd only been two points out last year at this point in the season. Well, they had 38 points. So that's a 13-point improvement by the Habs, if you look at it there, from last season to this season so far. So certainly a lot better start to the year. Now, obviously, the Canadiens in the second half were like, one of, if not the hottest team in the league. So it's nice that they've got that cushion now. But hey, 13 points better than last year. For all the complaints and everything up before the last game, fire Marty, et cetera, big picture, 13 points better than they were last year at this time. So, and that's with even more injuries, Last year, like Laine was out at this time of year. It wasn't much more than that. But this year they got Newhook, Doc, Laine, and Gooley out for a long period of time. And hey, they you look at it and they're 13 points better. So that bodes well. I think the Canadiens are I really think that this is going to turn things around for them at home. It's funny, you look at the standings here last year for them. They were 8-7-2 at home. They were actually better at home last year than they have been this year, or right about the same. But look at their away record last year. The Canadiens 3-9-1, and this year they're basically on pace to it's almost the complete reverse of that for the Canadiens on the road this year. So it's not sustainable. As Paul, my buddy Paul, pointed out the other day, it's not sustainable for them to keep that kind of pace on the road. So they got to be better at home. And here, here's a stretch here where they play Philly, they play Chicago without Bedard, and they play Pittsburgh, who's been without Malkin, and it's lagging right now. It's important for them to win at least 2 of these games. It's also important, and they've been, there's been a habit this year of them maybe not coming to play against teams at home that they're expected to beat. They've lost some games that certainly fans were expecting a win from at home, and they kind of came out flat. So last game, I think that's turned that around I really hope so. I hope that this underperforming at home that's been going on since Remembrance Day officially changed last game. And I think the turning point, and I mentioned this last night, was that killing off that 5-on-3 early in the game. The crowd got behind them. They got motivated. Okay, the old guys, Carrier, Matheson, and Evans, like 3 of the that are on the team, if they can bust their ass 2 minutes, killing a penalty shorthanded, then you know what? The young guys can do that too, right? So, oh, Tina must have came home. Puppies are getting a little rambunctious. So yeah, it's I think they come out tonight and play hard. Hey, they'll be extra motivated here, the young lads especially, and the defensemen saying, no Matheson, we got to pick up the slack. So, you know, give me your thoughts on the pairings. I didn't see a lineup for tonight. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Tell me if you've heard what the defense pairings are for tonight. Certainly leave it in the live chat. But also if they haven't, and even if they have, let me know who you think should be paired tonight together. I noticed here that Sheldon. Hi, Grant. I missed your show yesterday as I was watching Kucherov as a rookie against the Habs. Obviously extremely talented, but had some turnovers. Just trying to compare Demi to Kuch at the same age. Okay, too bad you missed the show, but I'm glad you caught this one. I appreciate the $10 donation, Sheldon. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Kucherov had 9 goals, 9 assists as a rookie. There you go. Right. He may have been. Was he 20 when he was a rookie too? He may have been like a year older or so, right? Than Demidov. Like, did he start at 20, or were they the same age? Obviously, the Fowler's in nets tonight. That's who I figured. Hey, you got to come back with him. I really believe that. Same age, so he was. Yeah, okay. Habs are the youngest team by almost 2 full years. It's crazy, eh? Absolutely crazy. But I saw some different. I like Fowler being back in nets. I think he's well, you gotta keep playing him, right? Who knows? You don't want Monty sitting forever. You got to make a decision on him sooner or later. So they have to play him and evaluate and see, you know, like ideally, I think they want Dobie as the backup. And if Fowler's ready, I think they're gonna hand it to him, and maybe even kind of split it between him and Dobish, and figure something out with Montembeault. But in my estimation, there's no rush here. I'm not just. I don't think they should. Well, I got a somebody here. On X, AK's 420 Garden. He asked me a question there, and I said I'd answer it here, and he said he'd tune in. So, if Montembeault appears on waivers, do you think he'd be claimed? I'd like to get folks to weigh in on that too, what they think. I don't know. I'd have to look. Like, I'd have to do a deep dive on rosters right now, find out which goalies are out, which teams maybe could use another goalie right now. I have a feeling that he would be claimed. I mean, hey, he got claimed by the Montreal Canadiens, and he ended up becoming their first string goalie, right? So I just think that when you see the likes of Primo getting claimed on waivers, it's pretty hard to pass on Montembeault, right? There's teams out there, and that they can hide him too, to a certain extent. Like, play him, get him with a good goalie coach. If as I've heard through the grapevine that Eric Raymond's not thought to be one of the better goalie coaches in the league. Well, if you, I don't know if that's the case. I mean, you wonder that, but if that, there's teams out there say, well, we've got a good goalie coach. I think we can help get him straightened around here. He was third in expected saves above expected goals last year in the NHL. He was picked for the Four Nations Cup as one of the 3 Canadian goalies. So, yeah, I'd be surprised if you put him on waivers that he would pass through. So that's not really an option, I don't think. And because of that, I believe the Canadians. Hey, Hughes isn't afraid to go with 3 goalies. He went almost a full entire year with 3, right? Primo. They weren't sure about Primo. They had Monty, and of course they had the vet, and so they Jake Allen. So what they did was went with 3 for most of the year. The Canadians have a tendency to only go with 1 extra forward and 1 extra defenseman anyway. So, at this point, I don't think there's a rush to do anything. Keep the 3 with the club. Keep working with Monty. He'll eventually get in a game here, probably at some point, unless both goalies are really good, and then you just, if 2 or 3 weeks from now both goalies have been excellent, you might see them try to deal Monty somewhere, pick up an asset, maybe a young goalie that they can send to Laval or something. I don't know. Maybe he can be part of a Stamkos deal or something like that. Trade Monty for Demko. Well, then you got 3 goalies again. Like, if like I say, if the 2 guys look like they can handle it, there's no use trading for a third and then you're back to having 3 goalies again, right? I know you can send one of the kids down to the minors, but I don't know. Fowler's got more upside than Demko right now, I think. If Fowler proves to be the real deal, I'd rather have him in nets than Thatcher Demko right now. But anyway, it's an interesting discussion. And as far as the defense pairings, get any feedback there? Vidak, West Coaster, good test without Matheson. Not going to miss watching his 27 minutes today, whiffing on pucks in front of the net. Yeah. No grit. Oh, back to it doesn't take long for us to be back on disagreement front there, Vidak. But anyway, love having you here. Love having you weigh in. I respectfully disagree with some of that. There have been some turnovers under pressure at times, and he does ice the puck at times, but he also there's not a better defenseman on the team for breaking up 2-on-1s, defending what looks like potential breakaways. He saves a lot of goals, and on the top pairing PK all the time. He's got grit. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that one bit. He's got grit. Is he is he gonna fight? No, but he's grittier than Dobson. Like, he'll cross check guys in front of the net. He'll hit. He'll he'll clean out the crease. Maybe he's not the strongest guy in the league, but there's no lack of physicality there as far as I'm concerned. He's not a bruiser, but he competes and works hard and plays 27 minutes most nights, and is a big reason why the Canadians are where they are. So he'll be missed tonight. Engstrom will get a lot of minutes. I'm very happy about that, although Matheson will be missed. Well, that's well put. What's this? Ant Pierre Felice. Great. Good afternoon, Grant. Feeling optimistic for tonight's tilt. You know what? I am too, but I felt optimistic about home games this year a few times where they came out flat. I think it's important that, and it's one of the reasons why I'm glad Fowler's in net because he doesn't have a tendency to let in one of the first two shots, and I really think that deflates the team. It's been one of the things. Monty, it's just this year, the team. I know you're not supposed to let it bother you, but I really think it's deflated them a few times. You know, you come out, goalie lets in the first shot or the second shot, or the lets in the first two shots or two of the first three, and you can't help but be discouraged by it. You have to. It's hard when you're always trying to come back from a deficit, right? And then you tend to maybe take chances when you shouldn't, and things open up for the other team, and it just snowballs from there. So, as long as Fowler saves the first couple of shots, maybe the first three or four, I think the Canadians will come out strong tonight. Obviously, with Matheson out, I saw somebody say, "Well, why don't you have Engstrom with Dobson, Struble with Hudson, and then the bottom pairing with Jacky and Carrier, with those two pairings being kind of familiar with each other to a certain extent." I don't mind that. That wouldn't be bad, but what you'd see happening is Carrier, double shifting at times, replacing Engstrom with Dobson, and replacing Hudson and Hudson playing with Dobson a few shifts type thing, right? Where because what's going to end up happening tonight is I'd be shocked if Dobson, Hudson, and Carrier aren't all over 25 minutes. You'll see them. I don't think it's gonna be just three pairings and that's the same all night. They're gonna double shift Carrier, Hudson, and Dobson whenever they can, and have those three, playing with each other at intermittent parts of the game, right? Hudson and so maybe they start the game with those three pairings, but don't be looking for, Engstrom to have the same amount of ice time as Dobson if they're kind of paired together to start the game. I don't mind that idea. Maybe that would work. There's a few possibilities, right? Hudson and Carrier didn't look too bad together the other night. Yeah, they're undersized, but they both compete, and Hudson's good defensively now, and Carrier, that's kind of his bread and butter is his defensive play. So I don't think they're a bad pairing defensively, unless you're playing a really rugged big team, and then yeah. But I don't consider Philly to be one of the bigger, harder teams in the league. So you might see those two as a pairing. I wonder if Struble and Dobson might be paired up, and then you have Jacky with, Jacky and Engstrom as a third group, or you have Carrier, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, and then Engstrom, Jacky as your third trio. Mind you, the other, I didn't mind Struble and Engstrom as a pairing. They didn't seem to play too poorly together either. So there's that possibility. And then you have Jacky with Hudson maybe, and Yeah, or Carrier. Jacky with Carrier, and then Hudson and Dobson together. So those, I think, are the possibilities. And, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets kind of changed up as the game goes along tonight. And you see it, you're not going to see three distinct pairings throughout the game. I'm positive of that. Sheldon, I actually watched yesterday's show this morning. Good man. Yes, you got to watch every show, Sheldon. Pierre Gingras says Monty would be claimed 100%. Yeah, it's hard to, it's hard to disagree with that. Monty most likely be claimed, not a super expensive contract, and he showed in the past that he can be the guy. Yeah. Yeah. I like to go back to this. It's, Boston. I was surprised. Like, Boston really fell apart last year at the end, right? They were in the same spot they are this year, third. Right around the same, third in the Atlantic Division, and tied for third, which they are now, right? And they just fell off the face of the earth in the second half. Well, hopefully the same thing happens this year. But Washington's back near the top again this year, so that's not a big surprise. The big dip here, Toronto had 40 points last year at this time, right? And they've got 33 this year. So, I mean, it's not they didn't fall off the face of the earth, but 7-point drop for Toronto. But the biggest swing easily here is Montreal being 15 points, right, ahead of where they were last year at this time, 13 points, which is quite a swing. So that's that bodes well. I think with all the injuries, that the fact that they're still 13 points ahead of last year, youngest team in the league, but quite a few of them have either played last year or played the last few years, like Slav and that. So they're getting more experience too. So maybe the youngest team in the league, but it's not like they have 8 rookies in the lineup. Although right now, I guess if Beck, with Beck in, Engstrom, Cappy, Demidov, Fowler, there's a few, right? It's certainly a nice mix there, and I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I love that there's so many young players playing. I mean, it's almost like exhibition season, right? I love the exhibition season because you get to see all the young players and get to see how they're doing, and it just almost feels like a exhibition season with so many young players in the lineup right now. I don't mind it. Monty had a bad stretch, but a great contract. Yes, that is true. What do we got here for? We've got 46 people here in the live chat and almost 400 watching, which is decent numbers for little notice on a Friday or on a Tuesday afternoon. One more injury and Reinbacher should get called up. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Hi, Greg. Do you think Vancouver should trade Sherwood for Monty? Okay. If there's a Greg in the live chat, Greg, do you want to answer that? I don't know if there's any Gregs here, but if there is, Greg, you take this one and you answer that question for Freud. Siggy Freud. Okay, well, I'm joking. Freud, I don't know. No, they're looking. No, because they got offered something good. Who was it? Minnesota offered. I forget what it was, but it was a good. It was a good offer for Sherwood, and they turned it down. So no, like Vancouver would trade Sherwood for Monty, but there'd have to be additional pieces, like a draft pick and a prospect. So, but if you thought it was going to be one for one, no. Jonathan Berggren got picked up today. Who picked up Berggren? Friggin' Detroit, eh? How many young players have they given up on over? You know, their drafting has not been great, has it? You know, like Zadina, Berggren, Veleno. How many of their first round picks in recent years? Gonzo. Maybe Berggren was a late, or sorry, an early second, but top 35 pick for sure, right? They've so yeah, they're both guys. Their top three pick. They had three picks in the top 33. Like 2018 was supposed to be a game changer for them, right? They had four picks in the top 36. Zadina, Veleno, Berggren, and McCagg. None are with the team. None. McCagg still, like, none are with the Red Wings, right? McCagg is in playing in friggin' Slovakia. So he's done. Like, it's just talk about a wasted draft for them. They had a chance to rebuild the team, and Regula's the only one playing, and he's in Edmonton. So talk about. So they got Zadina they picked Zadina instead of Hughes. They could have had Quinn Hughes, right? Veleno instead of, and McCagg instead of Romanov, and take your pick. Vera Harvey, Marchenko. Wow, they really dropped the ball on that draft. You can criticize the Canadians for missing on KK, but Detroit had a top 6 pick, and safe to say, and 4 picks in the top 36, and they they really blew it. The Habs had 35th pick and took Ylonen, so wasn't the best draft for the Canadians either, but they didn't have 4 picks in the top 36 and whiff on all of them. You'd never have heard the end of it if the Canadians had done that. It was not, as it turned out, the Canadians and the Red Wings, it was not a banner draft for either of them. Canadians did take Jordan Harris at 71, and he helped fetch Line, which certainly, that helped getting them in the playoffs last year. So there was some value there. Ylonen had a look. Berggren, I thought they misused him and brought in all these vets and didn't keep developing him, because he showed early promise. Who picked up Berggren? St. Louis. Yeah. team that gets rid of Bolduc because they had all that winger depth, and gets rid of Texier because of all their winger depth. And what do? They turn around and pick up a winger on waivers. That's interesting. But you know what? I like Berger, and that's a good pickup for them, I think. He's still got some potential. Smart player. Not sure who wants the worst goalie in the league. Perhaps the Leafs. Well, thing is, he was one of the best last year. So we do see goalies sometimes go through spells where they're not great, and they do bounce back. And that's the thinking and the hope with if the Canadians give up on him, another team will give him he'll get another shot or two because of what he accomplished in the previous 2 years. He was his goals above expected were right at the top of both years were top 10, and last year was top 3 in the league. So would really like to see Reinbacher get a shot, see what he can do right now. Yeah. It would have been a good time to call him up, right? I think this is an indication that, hey, they're planning on just keeping him down there, maybe for the whole year. Because with Gooley and Matheson out, you don't call him up. It could be a sign of that, right? The team has issues with letting players play way past their primes. Young players are a great way to avoid that. No Markov's demanding $6 million. No Gallers getting paid, then stopping producing. They used to have issues, Austin, but like, what veteran got signed by the newest regime, by Hughes and company, that was way past their primes? Like, Evans isn't way past his prime. Anderson and Gallagher were signed by Bergevin. Matheson's not past his prime. So, I don't know that I agree with that comment, Austin. Monty will eventually be traded, but not now or before trade deadlines. Penelope Whiskey. I like that name. Yeah. Well, yeah. So you think they go with 3 goalies right till the end of the year now? I don't think that's going to happen. Something's going to give here before the trade deadline, I think. I already believe that Engstrom has surpassed both Xhaka and Struble. Oh, after 5 games, you already have got that. Yeah, well, little early, I think, to be making that declaration. Let's see him play more than 10. He's played, what, 40, 50 minutes NHL ice time? No. As soon as he has a struggle game, people say, oh, get him out of the lineup forever. He hasn't really been put to the test yet at all. Just curious how many minutes Engstrom has played in his NHL career now. Hockey Reference will let me know. He has played a whopping 59 minutes and 33 seconds in his NHL career. And you're making the declaration on that he's already better than guys that have been with the team blood, sweat, and tears for 3-4 years now. I'd say it's a little early to be making that declaration. Those guys bring something that Engstrom doesn't, and that they need is more physicality. You can't just have 6 players that nice skaters and that don't bring the physical part of the game. There has to be a bit of a mix there. Canucks already paying $13 million for Demko and Lankinen. They need to move one out. Yeah, but I don't think it'll be the Montreal. Oh, and now Austin, he backs him. Austin, I'm not agreeing with your points here today. Now he's also better than Carrier based on 59 minutes. Slow down, guys. Elvis X, Grant, does the fan base like Texier more than you do? Probably, yeah. Hey, fan base, when a guy comes in and he scores a goal, he's great, right? If he goes the next 4 games without scoring a goal, they'll be back to put him on waivers. Like, fan base can a little bit of a roller coaster there, right? And I mean, it's not everybody, but there's a tendency to recency bias, and I don't know, like, let's just see on Texier. Does he look good the last couple of games? Yes. I've seen a lot of players through the years look good for a couple of games, and that doesn't mean, Jesse alone and looked good. He had stretches of 3-4 games where he looked like, he's going to be top 6 NHLer for a decade. And, he's not even in the league anymore, right? So I like to see it over a more than just a small sample size. And that goes for Engstrom, too. I mean, the guy has been protected. He hasn't been up against top lines. He's playing 10 minutes. He's played 59 minutes so far, and people are saying, he's better than Carrier, Struble, and Jackeye. Maybe he might end up being, but let's just slow down a bit on making such bold declarations. Montreal looking for a 2C. I don't think they're looking for a 2C there, Deke. I think they've got their 2C. Yeah. Because Kapanen's the center and Slav is not. That'd be why. Grant, what's your opinion on the goalie situation currently? How does the team proceed forward with the 3 options? I think I've kind of answered that question, DJ. Did you miss the start of the show? I think you may have. I would just to recap, you keep all 3 for now. Play the young guys. If they're playing well, you figure out something to do with Monty. One of them starts to struggle. Monty gets a start for that player down the road. Then you consider maybe sending the one that struggles back to the minors because they can. But if they both play well, after 2 or 3 weeks or a month, you probably say, well, okay. Especially when the injuries start coming back, I don't think you're going to want 3 goalies then, right? And especially if you've got like 12 forwards playing pretty well in the lineup, and then you get 2 or 3 forwards back. Are you going to want 3 goalies and only 1 forward spare? No. So what they'll do is make a decision at that point. But up until the injured players start coming back, I don't think they're going to make a move. They'll just go with 3 defensemen, or 3 goalies right now, and they'll have a better idea probably in practice and stuff, right? If Monty's starting to find his game again, and if it looks like he is, and one of the other 2 goalies hits a bad patch, Monty will eventually get a game in there. And if he looks good, then, he'll play again. And if he looks good, he'll play again. And you can always send Fowler or Dobish to the minors eventually if Monty finds his game again. And one of the 2 or even both of them start to struggle, then that's your options. Grant, what's your thought on Montembeault sitting since the second? Is it a mental break? What's your thoughts on the goalie situation with our three options? Okay, well, I just kind of answered that. And these are new names. Thanks to Fowler and DJ and, fairly unfamiliar names. I'm glad that you guys are joining the guys and girls are joining in the discussion here. I think I just sort of answered that as far as the three goalie option. I don't mind him sitting since the second. Yeah, mental breaks are probably a good thing for him right now. Get him try to get his mental mental game back, mentality back in order, get his confidence back. It's not there right now. So you give him a bit of a break. Like, it must have been stressful. It's less stressful when you're not playing, I guess, right? Although it's also stressful, the fact that you're not getting any starts, then he's probably getting stressed about that too. But he's the third best goalie right now, so he sits. Team first. I'm glad that Monty got over this, mindset where it was Monty first, team second, and it was starting to hurt the team. And now it's apparent that that Marty's putting the team ahead of Monty, and that's just, it's a business, and that's the way it's got to be. Can't let the personal life get in there. Hoping for Slav, Demi, Zurowski someday. Slav interchange with Demi for center test. The guys, I don't. None of those guys are can touch Kapanen as center. Like, you need to understand what a center. Kapanen is a quintessential center, and none of these guys are. So, yeah, I would not like that. I would hate to see that line up against a freaking top line in the league. Where is the defensive conscience? Where's the defensive centerman out of those three? No, I wouldn't like that line at all. I mean, if you were playing with one net, just the opponent's net out there, your net was turned around and put up against the boards, I'd love to see that line. They'd score all sorts of goals, but you got to keep them out too. I know I'm an old guy, and you probably hate to hear this, but defense is just as important as offense, right? You can't lose 6-4 every game. It'd be fun if you had 10 100-point scorers, and that'd be neat, but it wouldn't be fun having 10 100-point scorers if you win 10 games and lose 70. More important than the home away record, the Habs are 11-5 versus Western teams, 6-6-4 versus East. Yeah, that's going to change. There's some anomalies there. It's just the way it's gone so far. And, one of the big reasons why it's better against the Western teams is because most of the Western teams they played were on the road, and for whatever reason, they've been winning on the road so far. So that's going to change, right? Sheldon, Texe will probably be on waivers again this season when injured players return. It could be, or he could be 13th, 14th guy, right, Sheldon? And by the way, Sheldon donated $10 there to the cause. I had $300 more last month than the month before because I started to do these live podcasts all the time, and people have been contributing, and I can't thank you enough. It's helped get me through this Christmas. Your all of these contributions that Sheldon and Mark and Francois and Donnie McCaskill, Dave Brown. I mean, I can go on and on. It's been a pleasant surprise that I didn't know that people would start donating cash during the live podcast, but it's inspired me to keep doing it and doing it often as I can because it's helping me subsist. So thank you so much, Sheldon, and everyone that's been contributing, and everybody that watches too. That helps me because the more views I get, the more I get paid by YouTube, right? Please please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button. Every bit helps tremendously. Good. We're up over 500 watching and 60 here on the live chat, which is great simultaneously. I'll get to a few more here, but probably wrap it up in an hour here or so. Some things to do before the game, including make supper. When injured players will come back, others will get injured. We'll never be 100% healthy. It's just stats. Oh, so here, eh? So that's why we're getting these. Oh, it's laugh at center because guy in the media said something, right? It's always the case. Yeah. No, he plays like a winger. And that's what he is, and that's what he'll be, is a winger. Power forward. No, I don't agree with Eric. It's almost Christmas. Have you been a good boy this year, Grant? Yeah. No vodka in the water bottle today. I don't know if Santa's going to be good. I think, not sure how close attention he's been paying, but I've been a good boy, Santa. I hope I get it. Actually, I just got Poly Market just sent me 2 months worth of I've got an affiliate badge on my X now with Poly Market, and they're paying me for it. And it's really, I mean, the timing couldn't be better just before Christmas. I'm really thankful for it. So thank you to Poly Market for supporting me. And all those years of posting on freaking X are finally paying off with some monetarily, which is good. We're on Biggs. Be silly to waive Texier. Anyone with any worthwhile knowledge? Okay. Can see Texier can be a valuable offensive to this team. Okay. So Doug Armstrong didn't have any worthwhile knowledge. The GM of Montreal, or Canada's Olympic team, and Canada's, he had him for 3 years. So again, Ron and to other people, they've been saying Engstrom's better than half the defensemen on the team. Just give it some time, right? Small sample size. We'll see. Yeah, he scored last game, so he's a superstar. We always, whoever scored, they're great. We'll see. He can be a valuable offense, clearly slicker and better stick handler than Evans or Newhook. Yeah, well, he's not better than Newhook. That I'll tell you right now. Not nearly as aggressive, physical, defensive, but he's playing okay and he skates okay, but Newhook skates better. Newhook was producing more than, like, at the end of the day, Texier so far this year is what? He's on pace half a point a game. That's not bad, but don't forget, with the injuries, he's been given a top 9 role that he won't have. He won't be playing, like he played on the top 6, in the top 6 a couple games, and then he's been in the top 9. When the injured players get back, I hate to break it to you, that's not where he'll be. So, and anyone who with worthwhile knowledge would know that. Thanks, Ron. People don't have to be, you don't have to get, just try to, try to be nice and civil on here, folks. You don't have to say anyone with worthwhile knowledge. It's not a nice thing to say. It's almost Christmas, Ron. I'm trying to be a good boy. You try to be a good boy too. Santa's watching. Hey, Grant, you see the updated lines for Team Canada? Haig at center between Martin and McKenna. Haig. So what, that big defenseman, 6'5" defenseman is playing center between Martin and McKenna? Huh. I don't know about that. I didn't know he was eligible for the World Juniors. All right, I'm being facetious. Santa just took away one of my presents. Hage. Yeah, that's nice to have Hage. Nice to have Hage in there between Martin and McKenna. That'd be a nice line, wouldn't it? Wow. I love Brady Martin. McKenna, yeah, McKenna's okay too. Yeah. No, I didn't see the updated lines for Team Canada, but Hage centering Brady Martin and McKenna. I love that. And if that ends up being a line, look for them to do damage at the I love the World Juniors. I just love this time of year, like I'm more excited about the World Junior every year than Christmas. I know I'm a fossil now, and I guess that's not, but it's just it's true. I've been that way for 30 years probably. Apparently Deneau has requested a trade. I can't really imagine a worthwhile trade for Montreal considering Doc is coming back soon. But Doc can play on the wing too. Yeah, well, I'd take back. Deneau would be a nice piece to have back. I think he was part of that team that went to the finals. Orders the best pizza. He's the best guy to order pizza on the team after they win, especially after they win a big playoff game. There are a lot of reasons why Deneau would be a nice addition. He's an obvious upgrade on Veleno, right? He's a left center. He can take the brunt of the, like a bottom two centers of Deneau and Evans is I like that. That's what you want kind of in those slots, right? And then you can always put Doc on the wing. So oh, we got some Flyer contribution here. Dvorak revenge game. Gonna take him for a point tonight. Dvorak's been really playing well. He was the whipping boy last year, the first half of the year, right? Veleno to a certain degree. I mean, it calmed down a bit because he scored in the last game, but when you're not producing a lot of offense and it's not a sexy role being asked to win face-offs, important face-offs, kill penalties, all that stuff. And if you're not producing on top of that, then you become a whipping boy. And Veleno has been this year's Dvorak for the Canadians, but he's contributing. And Dvorak in the second half last year, I kept defending him. I thought he was playing fine. He just was having trouble producing. And in the second half last year, he did start to produce, and he looked good. And he if they'd had the money, if they hadn't had Line A, probably they'd re-signed Dvorak, and he'd have helped a lot this year. He's been missed. That left center, penalty killer, face-off guy. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Dvorak had a good game tonight. That's true, eh? Are they going to do a video? I hope so. and I hope the fans are nice. They will. They're Page just might be warming up the spot for Misa, who's currently hurt. Yeah, maybe. Misa hasn't been playing a pile, so you never know. I mean, if they look good together, Misa can center another line and be the driving force on another line. They often try to balance things out a bit, right? He's set for a career high 55 points. Well, good for him. I like Devo. Has he been smiling when he scored goals for you guys? You ever seen him crack a smile when he scores? He I love that part of him. Like, been there, done that. Oh well, I scored a goal. That dour look on his face after he'd score a goal. I love it. I like Devo a lot. And he was really well liked. Did you see when they played in Philly and all the Habs were practicing and Devo came to the bench and a bunch of them came over and him and Caulfield were like best buds. Engstrom's big enough, teach him. Physicality is kind of he's not small, but like he's tall, right? 6'2", but he's kind of lanky. Yeah, he needs to add some weight. Exactly. Very good skater. I don't think he's ready to help them at playoff time right yet. I think he's got to get a little bigger. If you're not naturally physical, you don't normally teach that. It's got to be kind of an innate thing. You know what I mean? But a player can become more physical, but it's just not in his. And it's Swedish too, right? They're just not typically mean defensemen. There aren't very many mean Swedish defensemen. Ulf Samuelsson was he was a Swedish unicorn. There aren't that many of them. Yeah, you can probably name a couple others, but again, it's rare, and it's just not kind of in their DNA. So don't ever expect Engstrom to be a physical defenseman. If he gets a little bigger, yes, hopefully he will play with a little more jam. But he's looked fine so far. He doesn't look out of place, and hopefully it keeps up. It's nice to have. By the way, GLG is a Flyer fan, and I had him blocked at one point on Twitter, and he was man enough to come on here and join in and be be respectful. And he mentioned that I had him blocked, and I unblocked him, and I think he subscribed to the channel. So thanks, GLG. You've been, I have no issues talking back and forth with Flyers fans. I had a lot of them that, hate on for me because I'm not the biggest Michkov fan out there, I guess, and they didn't like it too much. I defended Reinbacher being picked over him, and I still do. I think in the long run, the Canadians didn't make the wrong choice. And I defended it maybe more than, I probably should have, because people were crapping on the Canadians, Remember after they picked Slav and after they picked Reinbacher, all the media guys and all the fans said, Bobrov's is horrible. Look at his drafting record of Europeans in New York. And now look at this. He's done it. He's whiffed again twice more, right? Because Slav didn't have a great rookie year and then got injured. And then they picked Reinbacher and Michkov, tearing it up in scoring a lot of points in the KHL. And it was just, Bobrov doesn't know what he's doing. Horrible pick. And, of course, I didn't like it because it's too early. And I never disliked the picks in the first place. I liked the Slav pick, obviously, and I liked the Reinbacher pick. It made sense. My guy for the Habs was either who I wanted the Habs to pick was either Dvorsky or Leonard, and Leonard was who I actually in my mock draft I put. I had the Habs taken Leonard, and that's who I would have. That's who I would have taken. And looking back on it, um, they could use a Ryan Leonard in their top six. It's still a piece that's missing, and I wouldn't have minded. But you know, you don't cry over spilt milk. It's way too early. Reinbacher is going to be a top two right defenseman, big guy. You know, uh, they're so valuable. So, and you got to be patient, especially with a big European defenseman that missed half the year last year, most of the year. It's that's a wait 5 years type thing, right? And we'll see. Would it be worthwhile for the Habs to take a look at Reinbacher? Well, I hope so. If he's out for a while, yes, I would. One of those rare nights where I root against all of you. Well, there you go. Hey, understandable. You're a Flyer fan, man. Oh, Abel must have came along late. Should I tune you in, Abel, too? About that? Let's just wait and see, okay? Fuck. We're so fat, like we're just so reactionary. Yeah, he's played 59 minutes in the NHL. Let's say he's better than. At least you say he might be better. We'll see. Yeah, Dvorak and Zegras are getting some chemistry together, right? And you know what? And this goes back to Cappy and Demidov. You need a balance. Like Zegras is not a great defensive player, not the most physical, offense first kind of guy. Play him with the defense first center who's going to be responsible. It's going to back up Zegras when he's doing his fancy stuff in the offensive zone and taking chances. You've got the conscientious defense first center backing him up. Well, what's the case with the rookie Demidov? Who do they have? They've got the defense first, back him up, smart center in Kapanen. It's exact same thing. There's reasons why you balance. You try to get balance. It doesn't surprise me that Dvorak and Zegras are playing well together. It's a very similar situation to what you got with Demidov and Kapanen. The pro's pro. Yeah, Devo's good. Mick, like your show, Grant. Thank you, man. I see Texier shining if given same opportunity. Well, I hope so. Texier was a good, a hell of a player in France back in the day. It's rare that a French player comes, it's about once a decade, and he's not poor, and he's played well so far. So good for him. And Ron, hey, glad that you don't mind taking a little bit of disagreement with your comments, and Merry Christmas to you too. And I really appreciate that you contribute here, and everybody's a big part of this, and don't be put off by me disagreeing with you. We can't all be on the same page, right? We've all got different opinions. Deneau left Montreal because he wanted a more offensive role. Not sure why he wants to leave now, but I presume he wants a more offensive role. Well, yeah, but it's 3-4 years later. He got he got an offensive role. He got to score 27 goals. He's older now, more mature. Probably he would accept a third line role on a Canadiens team that's actually legitimate contenders and a great young core now. So I don't know that he. I mean, I can't speak for him, and neither can you. But I don't know that he. You know, he's got to look at the stats and realize, okay, I'm not a 25 goal scorer, right? But what do you think using Slav as second line center? Oh God, here we go. Let me guess. Eric Engels, right? Eric Engels says so. I'm being asked this over and over again. Slav is a winger, prototypical winger. Kapanen is a prototypical center. No. Second line center is Oliver Kapanen. End of story. Please stop asking me that. Okay? If there's one thing you're going to get from me that you're going to know, I think Oliver Kapanen's a second line center. So stop saying, well, can Slav be the second line center? We trade for a second line center? Because it's going to piss me off. Sorry, Santa. The Habs have spent a fortune on development system. I think they want to see results. If it works and get the guys they need, forget the no. Yeah, maybe. Again, if it was the right price, I start watching you from the prospect stuff and respected your takes. That's why I still watch, even though the Habs aren't my rooting interest. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mick, like your show, Grant, we need to stop having so many firm opinions on players with very little NHL games played. Well, just, slow it down a bit, or, we'll see. I'm quite confident with Reinbacher, but would Ryan Leonard have been a good team fit considering his grit scoring? Yeah. Well, I made two mock drafts that year. The first one I had just before I produced my draft guide, I had them taking Reinbacher, and I said, you know what? Friggin' Leonard would be just so much, fit such a nice. I loved Leonard, had him ranked 4th overall. But anyway, I don't think they could have gone wrong with either of them. Frank Saravalli, Michikov can't skate. It's a real problem. You have said it from the start. Flyers fans are just emotional and want to be competitive. It's been a while. Well, no, he's not a good skater. He's not. And he's got to get in better shape. He showed up in camp. Look, I know somebody in the Flyers organization told me, look, he has to get quicker. And he didn't. He got slower in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, he got injured and that didn't help. But spending the summer in Russia, not learning English, I don't think helped either. I don't know. He's got to be more committed. You can't, it's not the first Russian that came over and thought, I don't have to work that hard. I'm great. And it's the NHL, man. If you want to be a 40, 50 goal scorer in this league, you got to work at it. Sidney Crosby didn't sit on his ass in the summer times. Alexei Lafreniere found that out. It's not just a Russian thing. It doesn't matter who you are. No matter how talented you are. If you don't friggin' work at it, there's very few guys that can like there aren't many Mario Lemieux or Guy Lafleurs. Leonard was my pick. Okay, somebody said Monty Laval, and I just thought it was an opinion, but is this this been confirmed? Monty's been sent I mean, if that's the case, that's good. Good. As soon as he was eligible to be sent down for a conditioning stint, yeah, I was on board with that, and good. That's a good move. Monty sent down for a conditioning stint. Perfect. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. Dobson, Rhino, Pickford, whatever, right side. Yeah, the future looks bright on the right. And I like it on the left too. Yeah, well, good. Doesn't seem like Deneau is always complaining about his role. Yeah. I might consider Crosby or Horvat for second C, but it isn't happening. Yeah. Well, if you get a star, then sure, okay. Bump Cappy down one, but Cappy's looks like a friggin' if he already looks like a second center and he's a rookie at 22 years of age in the NHL, then you know what? At 25, he's going to be a friggin' great second line center, in my opinion. I might be a little biased when it comes to Cappy. I don't know if, you got to get with the program there, live chatters. Just warning you. I was wondering if any of that was coming. I thought it might take a little longer for the conditioning stint. Yeah. RDS confirmed. Okay, good. Well, I like that. And maybe he gets his confidence back, right? And AHL guys with elite shots playing in the AHL usually get called up to the NHL. Like Jared Davidson, his best attribute is shot. He got called up to the NHL, right? Confirmed on Habs X account even. Well, there you go. Well, that's good news. Hey, even Carey Price got sent down for conditioning stint. Yeah. Yeah. He should have been sent down for a conditioning stint in training camp after getting married in the off season. Monty to Laval for conditioning hatchmans or watching your podcast, Grant. Yeah. Well, I make a lot of proposals. Not taking any credit for that either. I love Cappy as a 2C. Sheldon, you can stay. All right, folks. Maybe another 5 minutes if you got few more questions here. But I went for a hour and a half cross country ski this aft, and my stomach's starting to growl. How long can Monty stay in Laval? I think it's usually, isn't it 2 weeks? 2-week conditioning stint, I do believe. That's a good question. I'm doing what you should have been doing there, Abel. I'm asking Google. Uh, 14 days, maximum of 5 games, whichever comes first. So there you go. My memory was right. Served me right. 2 weeks. Cap has solid potential. Yeah. It will only get better as years go by. Oh man, I watch. He just makes so many good plays, and he's only getting better too. Jimbo Slewfoot. Thanks, Grant. Love the show. Bon appetit. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, geez, we're up to 70 here, right? Well, did I stay long enough for you, Sheldon? Did you get your $10 worth? I always feel guilty leaving early when, especially when somebody kicks in that kind of cash. Oh, you reminded me there. I gotta see if Snake's coming on tomorrow. He was at the World Junior Challenge. I got to ask Snake if he's coming on for a show tomorrow. I hope so. How is Koivu doing? Well, he's going to be at the World Juniors, and we'll get to see him. That's another great thing about the World Juniors. You get to see some of your high-end prospects playing in the World Juniors, so that's kind of cool. All right, Sheldon, good to hear. Did Snake recently say he'll be back in Finland in a few years? I don't. Did he? He may have said that a while back. He's buckling down, is he? If that's the case, if I get him on tomorrow, I'll run that by him again. But I don't think he's been saying that lately. Probably not. Yeah. New hook top 6 when he returns, bottom 6 key for the future. There you go. Oh well, Snake's at her again. Well, we'll try to get him on tomorrow, and we'll have a good little debate about that if he comes on. Love to get some bruisers for fourth line. Need to get some energy, probably. Sorry, Scoy George, you're late to the party. I gotta go. Supper time. Thank you, everybody. I'll be on after the game. Yeah. What do you mean, Scoy? YouTube featured, it says Grant. Okay. Well, I'll be on after the game. Here's a new name. I better answer this. A defenseman week have to go by trade deadline. Who will it be? A defenseman week have to go. I guess you're probably trying to say will have to go. Hey, Mike. Nice to have you here. New name, so I'll field this. Struble or Engstrom, I'm thinking, is going to be if they have to trade one, it's probably going to be one of those two. All right, folks, that's it for now. Okay, thanks, Goy. We'll see you guys after the game. I'll do a post game and have a beer at that point. Okay, thanks again for tuning in. We will see you in a few hours. Go Habs, go.